So as you can see, now we have this employee form, and we can now insert the name, the email, the job title, and the salary. Now what we need to do is that we need to create here a button that's going to submit this form and insert the data into the database. So first of all, what we need to do is that we need to create this. We need to create that button. So here in this employee form.html, we need to create that button. So I'm going to create here a new button. Here I'm going to say here below this. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a button. I'm going to say dev. Let me give myself some space here. And then I'm going to say dev. And here dev. And it's going to be similar to this. So I'm going to copy this line. And then I'm going to paste it here instead of this dev. And then I'm going to push this div a little. And I'm going to push this div. And then in between, we need to create a button. So here I'm going to say, and here I'm going to say input. And then this input is going to be the type of that input. I'm going to say type. And the type of that input is going to be submit. Submit. And the value is going to be create employee. And you can even add style, some style. You can say here style and then equals to background. So you can say background blue and color white. Color white. Let me save and let me head on over to the browser to test. So if I refresh, as you can see, we have this button, but the background is not gray. The background is not blue. So here I should say blue actually, blue. And let me refresh one more time, and it's blue. So we have this button now. And as you can see, the design is not great, but don't worry about the design because this is now we are in a Django course. This is not a web design course, even though the design is important, but I'm not gonna be focusing a lot on the design. I want you to learn Django because this is a Django course. If you want to learn more about the design, I'd highly recommend taking my course about web design, where you are gonna learn how to create a complete, awesome looking website, complete website and web pages. So this is for the button. Now what we want to do is that we want to submit this form, and to submit this form we need to make this form functional. And to activate this form we need to give this form a method and action. So I'm going to say here method. So the method is the method that we want to use in order to submit this form. So I'm going to be using the post here. I'm going to say post because we are submitting critical data. This data shouldn't be submitted using the get request. The second thing that we need to create is the action. The action is the URL that you want to use in order to submit the form. So I'm going to create here. I'm going to pass here the double brackets and then percentages, and then URL. What is this? Let me explain what is this. This is a function. This is a Django function that's going to allow you to use any URL of these URLs, to submit the form. And the URL that I'm going to be using, I'm going to name it create employee. Create employee. So we need to create this employee URL in the URL. So in the URLs, we need to create a URL called create employee. So I'm going to say here path, and then I'm going to say create employee, and then the function is going to be views.create employee, and the name which is the most important thing here is create employee. Of course it should be create employee, and the name, this is very important, you need to understand this. The name is the one that's being used here.